You know, when you get a nice cut of beef, the last thing you want it to do is spoil in the fridge. So I'm going to show you how to take care of your beef, your chicken, your pork, and get up to 28 days of refrigerator storage time, especially for beef products. This is a typical plastic bowl, but what makes this one different than many that you see is the two things. One is it has a really nice seal around the perimeter. That's a soft silicone that mates with the rim, the edge of the actual container itself, and creates an airtight lock. This particular one, you fit it on, and if you press down, you'll notice that it will tend to move some of the air out of the container. And what we're going to do is show you how to remove all the air out of the container. So we've got her locked down, and what we're going to do now is we're going to take, for those of you who own FiZZ GiZ equipment, you'll know that you'll notice this right away, and you know what it is. This is CO2. Now we're pushing CO2 into the headspace of this container, and it's mixing with the air and blowing out all the air. Air is largely nitrogen, 78%, another 21% of it's oxygen, and that's what you want to get rid of. Oxygen is the enemy of food and beverage products, and the more oxygen you can get out of the container, in this particular case, the better off you are. And I'll mention in the body text below in this video where you can get some documentation of this. This is a kind of a a modification of what's known as modified atmosphere packaging, where they remove the normal air and replace it with a combination sometimes of carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen. So I pretty much purged the air headspace here. I'm going to close that. Now, in just no time at all, the CO2, which is hydrophilic, it loves water, will find its way into the water that is inside the muscle of this cut of beef. And what will happen is, especially overnight in the fridge, this top will suck down very, very tightly, and you'll be able to almost pick up the entire container just by the lid itself. Maybe it started to happen now. Let's just see. If you hear sudden suction of air when I open this, that means that the CO2 inside the headspace has already begun to be absorbed into the muscle meat, into the water inside the muscle meat. And it's only just been literally, a few seconds. But this will go on overnight and create a very, very tight seal for this container. Let's listen and see. Not yet. But by this time tomorrow, this particular container will be really, really tightly sealed. Just overnight in the fridge. So I'll try to edit this video and add a clip on the end of it that shows this particular container with this cut of beef after it's set in the refrigerator for some hours. Thanks for listening, and if you care to know more about this and how to do it, well, this is a FiZZ GiZ plug valve, patented valve by the FiZZ GiZ company, and that's the key to it. It allows you to inject the CO2 from a pressure source, either a small paintball-sized tank or a larger common CGA 320 tank, which you'll often see in restaurants connected to their beverage machine. But yeah, this gives the average consumer access to 75-year-old technology known as modified atmosphere packaging. So, thanks for listening. Okay, it's been a couple of hours, And I'm about to have some tomato sandwiches. But I wanted to pull the beef from the fridge and show you how much the lid has sunk down. You see it's kind of concave. I don't know if you can see it in the video there. But the CO2 has soaked its way into the beef, and I want you to listen to the air rush in whenever I... Actually, let's do this. Let's take the lid, and now I'm going to attempt to pick it up. Okay, I can actually pick it up. The suction is so strong I can actually just pick it up. Okay, so let's listen here. Okay, you see that? Now, this has become impregnated with CO2. The CO2 that was in the headspace surrounding the meat worked its way into the beef, and it created a vacuum because no air leaked in to replace the gas that went into the beef, so it just kind of crushed the lid down a little bit. So we'll put some more CO2 in here to replace. And by the way, you know, CO2 is dirt cheap. This is not like reporting dollars or dimes worth of stuff. This is pennies worth of CO2 here. So anyway, hopefully helpful. Thanks for listening.